What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and as always, we're going to be taking a look at the markets as a whole, see what's going on. This is going to be a quicker video today. I got to go get my boat out of the water today, but I hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's take a look at the charts. We're going to take a look at the Dow, DXY, then we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, what I think is possible, what we're going to watch for. Definitely stick around for the whole video. Make sure you scroll down, smash that thumbs up, leave your comments down below. We're not going to do the extra ticker at the end of this video, but I will be doing more members videos. I'm going to start that this week, maybe tonight, depending on what time I get home. But anyways, let's get into the charts, see what's going on. Dow futures are up 277 points as of the time of making this video. S&P futures up 40 points, and NASDAQ up 142. But be cautious. You know, a lot of times they'll pump these before the market opens just to go down. And a real key time to watch on the traditional markets is 10 o'clock. There's usually a reversal. So if it's going up into 10 o'clock, it usually reverses, it goes down, and vice versa. So let's take a look at what's going on. So the Dow Jones, as you guys know, this is the falling channel we've been watching. We did not come back down and touch the bottom trend line just yet, and that's around 28.1 to 28.2 range. I still think we get down to there. If we do get a pump up today, I don't see it going much higher than 30,800 points. But if we do get above that and open and close tomorrow's daily above, then we could get bullish into retesting this triangle. But as you got, or this rising channel, as you guys know, once we broke this channel, we have a measured move of 27,060 points. We also, if we do get down to that level, then we've broken our bottom of this falling channel, right? So our measured move at that point goes all the way down to around 23,000, somewhere in that range. Again, we have the long-term trend line all the way down here. Could be as low as 20,500 depending on how quickly. Now, you guys know my big picture on the DXY, right? I've been bullish on that, still bullish on that. We're above all the EMAs on the 4-hour, but we could come back down and test this trend line here. So if we do get a little rally up in the next day or two, we could go as low as 111. Once we break that, then the next real support, we have the 55 EMA on the 4-hour around 110, and then 108 down here. But if we zoom out into the bigger picture, this is the daily. I'm sorry, I think I might have said 4-hour. This is the daily. Anyways, if we go into the weekly, you guys know my big picture on this. I am extremely bullish on the DXY. Still have this target up here around 122. I do think there's a good possibility we get some rejection there, but once we get above it and get it support on top, then my big picture play out looks like about 178 to 180, and that's the breakout of this. Let me get this off of here. Well, we can put this in there as a big falling wedge right here. This is the breakout point. And that gets us up to this range. I know a lot of people are zooming into right here really close and saying, oh, it's got a huge retrace coming, blah, blah, blah. But if you look back here, once DXY gets going, it really gets going, right? So I do think that we have much, much higher to go for the DXY, which is much lower for Bitcoin and traditional markets. I've talked about it for a long time that the traditional markets go in a bear market, Bitcoin will not be able to hold up. I know a lot of people were talking about it being a hedge against inflation, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about that a lot. Bitcoin's a speculative asset. I'm not saying it's going to die like a lot of people say. It's just going to have a massive correction and wash out all the crap coins. We've been talking about this for a long time on this channel. Now let's get into Bitcoin, but before we do, make sure you check out Prime XBT, by far my favorite exchange. Link down below. Use my promo code SAVVY50. It'll get you up to a $7,000 bonus to add to your margin. Savvy25 will get you 25% off your fees. By far the best crypto exchange, and you could trade Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow Jones, everything all on one exchange. They don't clump your trades all together, so you can have multiple trades in. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. They do sponsor the channel. So let's take a look at the daily. We were looking at this as a huge falling wedge, right? With a breakout target of 51, if that was the case. I told you guys I highly doubted that. But we have broken above this trend line right here where everyone got extremely bullish, right? Once that broke right here, but we just have been riding it down now, which I think will probably continue, probably break back down below it, honestly. But let's take a look at, could we look at this a different way? We could raise this top trend line up to where we tagged right here and then start this one here, but I don't like to do that because of how the RSI is intact here. This is the 4 hour, so we'll zoom out to the daily here in a minute. Looking at the 4 hours, so we talked about this falling triangle or descending triangle. Let me get the RSI off there. This descending triangle, and we said to watch for 19.9 last week. Well, we did not get above that, so now we can move this down. So our new point to watch for a breakout here is around 19.7. If we can get above that 19.7, then and get support up here, then we could be looking for some higher targets. Possibly, we'll take a look at that in a second, but right now, still, unless we get above this 19.7, nothing bullish here. If we break this 18,150 range, then I'd be looking for a retest of this 17.5. And like I said, I don't think that'll hold once we get down here. I think this will just break through. And my next target after that's 14.5, and I get that off of the weekly. Now, if we take a measured move of this whole triangle, that gets us down to this 3,500 range. And we've been talking about that since December 2nd when we made our Amazon to Bitcoin comparison chart. I've also talked about false bottoms where I believe we'll see a false bottom possibly around 75 to 8,500, maybe November of this year, maybe into December. Get a false bottom. Everybody will call 4-year cycle. And that was the bottom, and we're going to new all-time highs in 2024. I have a bigger chart that suggests that's not what we're going to see. Obviously, it's just my opinion, not financial advice, but it's something definitely to look at. There is some huge plays if it does play out, and if it gets invalidated, then we look for our next situation. But as of right now, these are my targets. This 35, if this happens this year, then yeah, I think the bottom's in. But as you guys know, I'm looking for that bottom to actually be sometime in 2023, probably middle or end of 2023. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's look at the daily here. We put this on the daily and look at the same thing. Zoom in here. And we're going to also put a target on the top of this triangle in the daily. We'll also take a look at, so on the daily as of today, around 19,740, but we also could get a wick above. According to the daily, we have the 55 EMA here right around 20,000. So may we see that 20,000? It's very possible. If we cannot get above the 20,000, it may be a very long time before you see 20,000 again, and we'll talk about that in the next charts. This is the weekly. This is where I get that 14.5, right? All that is the measured move of when we dropped out of this rising broadening wedge. Gets us down to around that 14.5 range. I'm still looking for that 14.5 to 15.5. I do think we're going to hit that unless we obviously get a big rally up into these ranges here, which could be the 200 EMA as high as 25.5 on the weekly. Again, we'll take a look at why I'm looking at these targets. Now, how did I get to 85 target? That is just looking at this as a flagpole from here to here, bring that down and to where we broke down, that gets us at 85, which is also a high volume node right here, but we're still below the EMAs here on the weekly, and our 8 EMA currently is lying around 19,800, which lines up at the top of that triangle, so keep an eye on that. We also have, looking at this whole thing as a bear flag, and we bring this flagpole up to where it broke this major trend line on the weekly, right? That being our flagpole, this being our flag, gets us down to that 35 to 3,800 range. Now, taking a look at the .com bubble compared to the Bitcoin bubble, we had to wash out a lot of stuff in here, right? This thing is still playing out perfectly. We could even get spikes, and it's not going to invalidate it. The only thing that's going to invalidate this would be a break of this 55 EMA, and that's around 30,400. As you can see, we never got above it back here, right? Once we get above that, then we can start looking at the bottom being in. If we zoom out and take a look at the big picture, which we're going to do in a second, but first, I want to show you guys. See this RSI trend line here on the weekly? Once that broke, that was that false bottom right here. And like I said, that could be sometime in February or March to get this false bottom. And that would be around that 75 to 8,500, maybe as low as 65. We'll be keeping an eye on it. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you share these videos, get them out there. If you are subscribed, make sure you tick that notification bell so you get notified when I post new updates. Now, so looking at this, if we do get this rally here from February or March, and that's if it plays out in the same timeline. If you guys compare these two charts and the timelines for tops and bottoms, it's playing out perfectly. So if that was to happen, let me move this over so you can see it. So we would break this trend line sometime in February or March, get everyone super bullish, bottom is in, blah, 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 and then come back down for a retest, just like we did over here for the true bottom. And that would be sometime in the middle or end of next year, August, September, maybe sometime in there, if this plays out with the same timeline. Again, this could capitulate a lot faster, but according to what's going on in the bigger markets, being in a traditional bear market, I think this is going to take some time to play out. Now, here is the same chart, Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart, right? Same exact chart, just condensed. Now, this is extremely bullish, but it's a long ways away, right? So if this does happen, we get our bottom sometime next year, we should get a rally into 2025, which would be sometime into the middle of 2025 at 38 to 40,000, right? Huge opportunity in here to long or to buy and just hold until we get up into these ranges, sell, and it could come back down into the 15,000, 14,000 range again sometime in, this would be 27, somewhere in there, and then another huge opportunity. Now there is tons of trading opportunities this whole time, so it's not dead. It's just longer periods, right? So everyone will definitely, so this could still be a 4-year cycle, right? Presidential cycle, in my opinion. Still be a 4-year cycle, and then we have 2 years to the downside, and then another rally to the upside right here. So another cycle, right? But the cycle doesn't have to make new all-time highs all the time. But let's take a look at what Amazon did after that. It took 10 years to break that all-time high, but after that, look what happens. So this could be extremely bullish for Bitcoin in the future, but to just think it's going to go to new all-time highs and you're going to buy here, like, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's very unlikely. I think it's going to be a long time. So these people that are up in here, these price ranges, you know, on Bitcoin, 40 to 50,000, it may be a long time before you actually get into profits. Again, I could be wrong. Just something everyone needs to look at. I try to give you guys a big picture instead of, you know, all the hype of like you were getting the $100,000 Bitcoin for sure. The last year and the year before they were calling it did not even get close. So just be careful, guys. Don't get sucked into the hype, and check out our every Friday we are doing a podcast or Twitter Spaces. It's the 4 Bare Naked Horsemen. Definitely check it out. We did it last Friday. You can find it on my Twitter. My Twitter is @CryptoSavvy1. Give me a follow. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. I got stuff to do, and I will see you in the next video. Make sure you smash those likes. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think, and I'm out.